Hello everyone, welcome to the next game in the Demolition Strat-O-Matic 2015 League. We just finished doing Houston and Boston. That was the last video. In fact, that was my attempt at doing a live stream video. Don't know how well it turned out. I guess the jury's out on that. But that was matchup number 2 in Series 3. Now we're at matchup 3, Series 3. It is the Seattle Mariners taking on the San Francisco Giants from San Francisco, so that means the pitchers will hit, as the National League is the home team. So let's look at the review the last couple of games for the Giants. I already did that for Seattle when they played Philly. But let's look at the Giants' last couple of games. See how they did. They were doing really bad. They were 1-3 in their first 4 games. They weren't scoring any runs. In their 5th game against Tampa Bay, they actually got the win. Tim Lincecum started, didn't do all that well, but the bullpen was stellar. 5 shutout innings of relief, and they did manage to score 4 runs in the game. And Joe Panik was red hot, 4 for 5. Only thing missing from the cycle was a homer, but his big triple really made the difference there in that 2-run 7th to give them the lead. They beat Archer, shut him down 6 innings, 2 runs, but he came out. Mcgee came in because Archer started the 7th. I'm sorry, he started the 6th. Check that, he did not start the 6th. He came out. Pagan singled off of the new pitcher Mcgee, the lefty. Got caught stealing right away. But then the lefty Aoki and lefty Panik, a single and a triple. That tied the game. And then once we got to the right-hander Posey, they brought in Jepson. But Jepson gave up the sac fly by Posey, and that was the difference in the game. They actually pounded out 14 hits and won the game 4-3 to improve to 2-3, while Tampa Bay fell to 3-1, or 3-2 rather. And then the game yesterday, back to the same old Giants. They lose it 3-1. Bumgarner drops to 1-1. He gave up a 3-run homer in the first to Asdrubal Cabrera, and the Rays made it stick. Odorizzi 6 2/3 innings, getting the win to improve to 1-1, and then Boxberger getting his 2nd save in that one as well. So the Giants now are at 2-4, and that's the way they head into this series. Their first chance to play at home, as they were in Cleveland and in Tampa, the first 2 with DHs, so this is their first time to play at home with a pitcher hitting. Starting pitchers for today's game for the Giants, it'll be right-hander Chris Heston, and for Seattle, it'll be right-hander Taijuan Walker. So Heston and Walker get the calls. Let's look at the rest rolls that came up for both teams and see how they did. The Mariners had to rest Seth Smith and Logan Morrison, their first baseman and right fielder. So Nelson Cruz moves from the DH to the right field position with no DH in the National League Park. It'll be Jackson, Cano, Cruz, Seeger, Gutierrez, Miller. Bloomquist is at first. He's the only guy on the roster rated to play first base other than Morrison, so had to dig deep for that to get Bloomquist. Zanino catching and Walker pitching. For the Giants, they had to rest Panik and Aoki, so that's basically their top 2 hitters in the lineup, so really had to do some shuffling there. Blanco in center, Crawford at short, Posey catching, Belt at first, Duffy at 3rd, Pence in right, Maxwell in left, Adrianza 2nd, and Heston, the pitcher, batting 9th. Now, I was able to DH Posey in the last game, so he's caught 4 of the first 5, but he was DHing last game, so he's back to catching and has good rest to be a catcher, so no problems there. All right, that should be enough preamble. I do have the game up on the computer, so I can score this as we're playing, and possibly if the flow of the game seems decent, I can give you some stats as the accumulated stats through the first 5 games or first 6 games for each team, just to tell you how they're doing. I'll try it out. If it seems cumbersome, then I won't mess with it. But for now, I think I will try it and see how it plays out. Let's get as much in here as we can. And again, this is Series 3, Matchup 3, Game 1, game number 33 of 270. The replay date is April 20th, 2015. Chris Heston finishing up the warm-up tosses. And Austin Jackson will lead it off. Action Jackson will lead it off. Let me make sure that everything is good so I can sit down and get this game going. All the focus looks okay. All right, we are ready to go. And on the season, Chris Heston has had one start. He's 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts, as he took a loss to Cleveland in his first start. Austin Jackson enters the game hitting 368, no homers and 1 driven in and 19 at bats. He was a 267 hitter on the season, but right now he's 368 in this little replay. So here's Austin Jackson, Chris Heston, 3-9, and that's a strikeout. So Action Jackson will take a seat. 1 down, and that'll bring up Robinson Cano. And Cano on the replay is hitting an even 250, a homer and 3 driven in 24 at bats. So again, limited sample size. 4-12, and that's a single to center field by Cano. And I didn't mention it, but both pitchers' injury check is 6-12. That's the ones to worry about. Cano will not be held as a D stealer. And I am inputting all these results as they happen, so a little brief pause is me putting it in the computer. Here's Nelson Cruz. He's DH'd the first 6 games, but now he's got to play right field. 4 and an EA with a -1 arm, so it's not too horrible. Not as bad as you would think, although in the replay he's only hitting a .182 with 1 home run and 22 at-bats. He hit .302 on the regular season with 44 homers, so he's definitely underperforming to this point. 1-2, I say that, and there's a home run chance, 1-5, and it's a 2-run homer. Anything else, he flies to left. It's a 6, he just missed it, and we're not doing robbing home runs. That's a super advanced thing. If we were in super advanced, we'd be checking first the ballpark, and then also there'd be a chance to rob a home run, but in this case, in advance, it's simply a fly to left. 4 out, number 2. And that takes us to the cleanup hitter, Kyle Seeger. And on the replay, Seeger so far is hitting 220 at-bats. He's 5 for 20. 1 homer and 4 driven in. 3-8 for Seeger, and he will draw a walk. 2-out walk, and that puts runners at first and second with 2 down. And that's going to send us to Franklin Gutierrez playing in left field. Gutierrez in limited duty, he's 2 out of 8, hitting an even 250, no homers or runs driven in. 1-8, and he will walk, and that loads the bases as Chris Heston now having trouble finding the strike zone. Bases are loaded here in the first with 2 outs. For the dangerous Brad Miller, he's hitting .333, and he's 5 out of 15 on the replay, 2 homers and 3 driven in. So you got to be careful with Brad Miller. Is it Miller time for the Mariners? 2-3, it is not. It's a ground ball first base C, which when we do the C's, that's a 3-1. And Chris Heston gets out of that miraculously. No runs allowed as the Mariners leave the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Seattle nothing and San Francisco coming to bat. Taijuan Walker finishing up his warm-up tosses. He is 0-0. He had no decision his first start. He's got a 1.29 ERA, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. So nice outing this first time out. But that was against the Mets, I believe. But no decision. All right, here's Gregor Blanco. He's hitting .231, no homers and 2 driven in. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. A lot of hits in column 2, but he found a strikeout. And he will take a seat. 1 down for Brandon Crawford. Usually hits lower in the lineup, but with no Panic and no Aoki, they bump him up to the number 2 position. He's hitting only .053 in 19 at-bats. So no homers or runs driven in, so he's really struggled. Maybe putting him in the 2 spot might get him jump-started. 1-7. And it just did. 1-7 is a double, 8-20 is a single. That is a double for Brandon Crawford, so maybe he's liking that number 2 spot, and Bruce Bochy might move him up there more often. If that's the case, usually that's a spot reserved for Panic. Here's Buster Posey, the catcher. Crawford at second will be held as a C stealer. He will be held. And he runs at a 14, so you definitely want to hold him there, trying to keep him close. Posey hitting 261, no homers, and with 1 driven in. 312, and that's a walk. More walks in the game, just what we needed. First and second, 1 out for Brandon Belt, the cleanup hitter. He has struggled. He's only hitting a $130. No homers, 2 runs driven in. 2-6, and that's a 1 for a single that will load the bases. Anything else, it's a fielder's choice, 3-6. And it's a fielder's choice, 3-6. As first baseman Bloomquist throws to Miller. Belt reaches first. Crawford will take third on the play. Runners at the corners. 2 down for Matt Duffy, third baseman. And Duffy on the replay is only hitting 214. No homers or runs driven in. 2-5 for Duffy. That's a single, 2 stars, and that will get the first run of the game home for the Giants as they take a 1-0 lead on the RBI single from Matt Duffy. Belt will take third since it was a 2-star single. 1-0 Giants. And that brings up Hunter Pence. He's struggling, a $133. No homers or runs driven in. Duffy is a beast dealer. He will be held. Catcher arm is Zanino -1. So that would make it a 1-9. They're not going to risk it. They're going to let Hunter Pence swing. 4-8 against Walker, and that's another walk. So 4 walks combined in the first inning. And that loads the bases with 2 down. And that's going to send up Justin Maxwell, the left fielder. Maxwell hitting 286. He's 2 for 7, I believe, on the season. No homers or runs driven in. 6-7. He pops it up to short, and the Giants, just like the Mariners, will leave the bases loaded. Difference is they at least scored a run, and so after 1 inning, it is 1-0 Giants. 1-0 Giants. Top of the second we go. Chris Heston will face Bloomquist. 5-8 against Heston is a ground ball, second base X. Second base is Adrianza, and he checks in as a 3. 3-16 is good. And there's 1 away. And I forgot to mention Bloomquist in limited duties is hitting 200. He's 1 for 5. He's now 1 for 6. So, like I said, there's such a small sample size. It's almost not worth to even talk about it, but just kind of gives the feel of a broadcast, I think, when you give some stats, even if they're kind of irrelevant. Now, here's somebody that's really struggling. Mike Zanino, he's 0 for 11 on the season. He does have an RBI. I think it's on either a sacrifice fly or a ground out, but he's 0 for 11. 1-4, he's going to be 0 for 12 with a strikeout. So 0 for 12 now for Zanino. But their other catcher, Zucre, hits even worse. And now we got the pitcher hitting card, Taijuan Walker. He's of course, has not had any at-bats, as this is the first game Seattle's played with the pitchers hitting. He uses pitcher hitting card number 1. 3-5, that's a ground ball to short. Inning's over. So 1-2-3 inning for Heston. And in the 2015 season, Heston actually had a no-hitter at Citi Field against the Mets late in the season. So he's certainly a capable pitcher. Taijuan Walker back out. Start the bottom of the second against Adrianza. He's only 1 for 4 on the season, so very limited duties, hitting 250. 211, and that's a ground ball C, so it's going to be a 3-1 ground out on those ground ball Cs. As Bloomquist will flip the Walker covering, 1 away. Here's Chris Heston. His first at bat. He does have his own pitcher hitting card, but of course they were DH games the first time around. Here's Heston, 4-4. That's catcher X, and catcher is Zanino. And Zanino's a 2. 2 and a 10. That's probably going to go to an error check for a catcher. 2 and a 10 does go to an error check. Zanino is only an E2, and that's an 8. E2 and an 8 is a ground ball C, so it's going to be a 2-3 grounder for out number 2. Little squibber that Heston put out there, and Zanino had plenty of time to pounce out there and fire to first for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Order flips over to Gregor Blanco. Blanco struck out his first chance. 4-5. This time he will draw yet another walk. Third walk issued by Walker. And now B Steeler Blanco is a 13, minus 3 being held is a 10, minus 1 for Zanino would be a 9. Do you want to risk it? I think they're going to take a chance. They're going to take a chance to send Blanco 1 to 9. And of course, caught stealing again. Boy, we're having the worst luck on this caught stealing stuff. So he gets caught stealing to end the inning. And that means that Crawford will have to lead off the next inning. He was at bat during that caught stealing. We go to the bottom of the second. I'm sorry, the top of the third, rather. And back to the top of the order for Seattle, it is Austin Jackson. Anyway, what's going on? Oh, Blanco, I forgot to, thought something was screwy there. Put it in the computer. I was going to do a caught stealing, but I didn't give him the walk first, so he couldn't get caught stealing because he wasn't on base. Now we're straight. Now we're back to Austin Jackson. Top of the third. 1-0 Giants. 2-8. 1 to 17 is going to be a single. Anything else? Somehow Adrianza will field it. And that's a base hit for Austin Jackson. He sneaks it through. He is a B stealer. Posey, though, minus 2 arm. That'd be a 1 to 8. So they're not going to risk that, especially with Cano and Cruz and Seeger coming up. So they will hold Jackson right where he is. He is being held on. Here's Cano. 3-8 for Cano. It's a single 2 stars, and all of a sudden Seattle runners at the corners and nobody out. And the big boys coming up. Nelson Cruz, he is a double play candidate, but even a double play would score a run. Of course, the Giants would take that. It's also a home run candidate. 2-9, and that's a strikeout. He's also a strikeout candidate. 1 away. And I forgot to mention, Cano is not being held. He's a D stealer, so he's not being held. I'm only holding C and above. So Kyle Seeger steps up, runners at the corners, and 1 out. Infield double play depth. 2-8. Ooh, that's trouble for the Giants. 2-8 is a 1 to 9 home run for Seeger. That would be a 3-run homer, and Seeger had a 3-run homer in his last game to do in the Phillies. So let's see if he can repeat that performance. 1 to 9 is a homer. Nope, it's a 12, so it'll still be a double. Still going to be a double. Now, Cano was not being held, so we'll see if he can try to score. The double is assumed to go to center, and Blanco is a minus 1 arm. So the run rating for Cano is a 13, not being held is a 14. And Blanco's arm minus 1 is a 13. 1 to 13, you could send him, or you can keep second and third. I think they're going to send him, 1 to 13. And he's out trying to make the double. So Cano is out at the plate. We're going to call it 8 to 6 to 2 for out number 2. So unfortunately for the Mariners, Cano is out. There's still chances to score more runs as there's only 2 outs now. Here's Gutierrez. It's going to take a hit from Gutierrez. Seeger not being held on. 4-7, and that's a walk. So again, the theme of the walks are just going on like crazy. And here's Brad Miller. 5-4. That's a fly ball center field X. That is Blanco. Blanco is a 2. 2 and a 9. We'll check the outfield. Center field, 2 and a 9. Goes to his error check. He is an E6. Kind of high for a center fielder. He's an E6. E6 and a 7. Check the center field chart. E6 and a 7 is a fly ball B, so he's able to make the catch to end the inning. So the Giants escape further damage. But the Mariners do tie the score at a run apiece. Probably could have had more if they hadn't sent Cano, but sometimes you play aggressive and it works, and sometimes you play aggressive and it doesn't. In that case, it didn't. Here's Brandon Crawford to lead it off. He doubled his first chance. 5-7. This time he singles. Boy, he's liking that number 2 hole. They may want to keep Crawford there in that 2 hole. Seems to be taking a liking to it. He's a C stealer, which means he will be held, but he won't try to go anywhere. Buster Posey, the batter. 110 for Posey. That's a fly to left. No ballpark effects to worry about in advanced. So 1 away. Brandon Belt, first baseman. 2-6 for Belt. 1 is a single. Anything else, he grounds out in a fielder's choice to first base, which is what he does. It's a 3-6 fielder's choice for out number 2. Belt, the new runner at first base, and he will be held on but won't go anywhere as well as a C stealer. And that brings up Duffy. Singled his first chance. 6-11, that's, oh no, 6-12 is the injury check. 6-11, Walker gets around that. Fly to center is going to end the inning. So after 3 complete here at whatever park the San Francisco has, I'm not sure if it's called AT&T Park or Pac Bell Park, or I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. They changed the name so many times. Hard to say. Last one I remember was AT&T Park, but I'm sure it's called something else by now, because the sponsorships keep changing all the time. So Duffy flies to center to end the inning. And we go to the 4th. It's Bloomquist against Heston. 2-8, and he pops it to 3rd. 1 down, and that brings up Mike Zanino. 1-4, and he strikes out, so Zanino continues to struggle. Still hitless. And that brings up the pitcher spot. Taijuan Walker using pitcher hitting card number 1. But it's under the Chris Heston's card, 5-7. And that's a single. How about that? He got a single off of the pitcher card. That's the way you do it in Strat. If you're the pitcher that can't hit, you get it off the pitcher's card. Get your hit that way. He, of course, will not be held. Oops, a little crooked there. Austin Jackson, the batter. 1-7, and he grounds it to 3rd to end the inning. Called the fielder's choice, 5-4. Not that it matters. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still a 1-1 ball game. Taijuan Walker back out. We'll be facing Hunter Pence to start the bottom of the 4th. Pence walked his first chance. 5-7. 1-15 is going to be a single for Hunter Pence. Anything else, he lines it to Seeger at 3rd base. And it's a base hit for Hunter Pence. Leadoff single. I'm not messing around with the steals right now unless it's a little bit better odds, because it's getting burned too many times. He will be held, of course. And here's Maxwell. Not a very good bunter, so we're going to swing away. 1-5. And that's a fly to left. 1 down. That will take it to Ari Andrianza, second baseman, subbing for the resting Joe Panic. 2-7, and that's another walk. What's new? This is like Walk City around here. So now that brings up the pitcher spot, Chris Heston. He is an A bunter. He could bunt the guys over with, it would put 2 guys in scoring position with, would then be 2 outs. So let's see. Do they want to do that? That's the question. I think he almost, well, Heston is a hitter. He hit 196, which isn't bad, but I still think you're going to have him bunt. So on the, whoops, just flip everything over here. On the advanced chart, we go to the sacrifice advanced chart, 2d6 roll. Get an 8, and he is an A bunter, but they're playing corners in, so it drops to a B. Being an 8 batter, started by first baseman, runners advance. So it's going to be a sacrifice hit 3 to 4 as Bloomquist throws to Cano covering as the corners were charging. Pence takes third. Andrianza takes second. Sacrifice bunt successful. Runners at second and third. 2 down for Gregor Blanco. Base hit would give the Giants the lead. Blanco's walked and struck out. 4-6. He's going to fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So the Giants come away empty-handed. Would have been a sac fly had there been less than 2 outs. But not to be. So we go to the 5th. Still 1-1 here in San Francisco. Home opener for the Giants in this Demolition League. Robbie Cano will lead off. He has singled twice. 4-4, catcher X. The catcher, Posey, is a 1. 1 and a 17 as a catcher. Should be a ground out or something, I imagine. 117, no, it's actually going to be a foul out. So he fouls out to Buster Posey for out number 1. And that'll send up Nelson Cruz. 0 for 2 in the game. 4-8, may not be 0 for 2 any longer. 1-12 is a single. And it is a single, so Nelson Cruz will not be held on as a D stealer, but he will get the base hit. And it sets it up for Kyle Seeger to do some damage. Doubled his last time up. 3-8, this time he walks, so yet again, another walk. Surprise, surprise, another walk. Puts 2 on with 1 out for Franklin Gutierrez. 3-8 for Gutierrez, and he strikes out. Out number 2. It's up to Brad Miller. Brad Miller is the last chance for Seattle to get something done this inning. 3-5, and he struck him out. Inning's over. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Just check everything, make sure everything is still copacetic. It looks like it is. Bottom of the 5th we go. Still 1-1. And leading off will be Crawford, who is 2 for 2 in that number 2 hole. He's certainly liking the bump up to the number 2 spot. See if he can keep it going here against Walker. 110, he certainly can, or at least has a shot at it. 1-15 is a home run. 1-15, it's gone. 17, not quite. Boy, he just missed it. Just got up under it. Warning track power on that one. Just missed the home run. But securely putting it away in left field is Gutierrez for out number 1. As Taijuan Walker has a collective sigh of relief with the rest of his teammates. Here's Posey. 4-7, and that's a strikeout. So Walker with the strikeout of Posey. 2 up, 2 down for Brandon Belt. He's reached base on the fielder's choice twice. 5-6, and he will strike out this time. So 1-2-3 inning for Taijuan Walker. We go to the 6th. It's still tied at 1. And we start the 6th. This will be the fatigue inning for both pitchers. Both starting pitchers have a 6 rating for fatigue. And starting with the 7th inning, all the guys that had to rest would now be available next inning to come in and pinch hit, defensive replacement, or whatever it is required. Here's Bloomquist. He's 0 for 2, filling in for Morrison. 5-3 is a fly ball right field X. That is Hunter Pence. He's a 2. 2-15 is a good play, so Hunter Pence makes the catch. One down, and that sends us to Zanino, who is still hitless on the season. He is now 0 for 13. 112, and that's a low max. Lines at the third, but nobody's on base. 2 down. And Taijuan Walker with 2 outs and the base is empty. You might as well let him hit. In fact, he got a single his last time up off the pitcher card, Heston, so maybe he can do that again. 310, he's off his own card, and he will ground to third to end the inning. So Heston takes care of Seattle in the 6th. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th we go, still tied at 1. And Taijuan Walker will come out. His point of weakness or fatigue inning is subject starting right now. It'll be Duffy, Pence, and Maxwell. 5-9 for Walker. It's a ground ball shortstop X, and that is Miller. Miller is a 3. 3-20, that's good. 1 down. Duffy retired. Here's Hunter Pence. 5-12, that's a ground ball second base X. Cano is a 3. 3-12, going to an error check on a 3-12. Anything 8-12 goes to an error check. Cano is an E6. E6 and an 8. E6 and an 8 is a ground ball A. Good play. So Cano takes the tough hop, handles it with no issues. And that brings up Maxwell. 2 outs and the base is empty. Maxwell 0 for 2. 2-8, and he struck him out. He's 0 for 3. So 6 innings in the books, still tied at 1. No point of weakness knocks against either pitcher, so they will both pitch into the 7th. See how it plays out now. We're in the 7th. Now, anybody that had to rest is free to come in and take over whenever the manager deems it necessary. Right now, Austin Jackson will lead it off. 5-7 against Heston. That's a single. So base hit for Austin Jackson. He's a B stealer, but again, you're looking at, and what did I forgot to do something here. Hold on, let me go back to the computer. I forgot to do some sort of thingy here. I think I missed a play, so let me go back, look at the play-by-play and see who I skipped or who I didn't, what I didn't do. All right, so we got Crawford. That was in the 5th. So let me get down to the 6th. All right, so the 6th we got a ground out strike. Okay, ground out. Okay, I didn't do Pence's ground out. That's what I didn't do. So that's what I got to do. Take care of Pence's ground out. Pence grounded out here, and then Maxwell struck out. Now we're set. Okay, so Austin Jackson with the single. He's at first base to start the top of the 7th. Bullpen activity for the Giants, as they do have bullpen activity. Sergio Romo loosening their bullpen. And let's see how they want to do this. Jackson is a B stealer. Starts out as a 13, being held as a -3 for a B stealer, makes him a 10. And then Posey's a -2, makes him an 8, so he's not going to go anywhere. Cano is a good hit and run guy, though. He's a B, becomes an A with the runner being held. So we will do an A hit and run with Robbie Cano. So we go again to this advanced hit and run chart. He is an A hit and run and a 5. So an A and a 5, single runner advances 2 bases. So how about that? The hit and run works exactly the way they wanted it to. And all of a sudden, 2 are on and nobody is out. And Nelson Cruz coming up, and that may be all for Heston. I think Heston is going to be done, as he seems to have lost it here in the 7th. So he goes 6+, facing 29 batters. That's a lot of batters to face. And Sergio Romo will be coming on the right-hander, Sergio Romo. He will be coming on. Will there be a double switch? No, Romo's only a one-inning pitcher, so they just want him to pitch this inning. They will pinch hit for him in the bottom half. Sergio Romo. So let's get the numbers on Romo. As we bring Romo in, I can get the thing to go right here. There we go. All right, so Sergio Romo is 0-0 with a 6.75 ERA in 3 innings pitched. He has given up 6 hits. So not very good, unfortunately, for him. Infield. They're going to play the infield in. They'll take a chance and play the infield in. 1-5. It doesn't matter. Nelson Cruz just cranked his first home run of the season. Actually, his second home run of the season. This one a 3-run shot. That's the old Earl Weaver 3-run home run. Unfortunately for Heston, 2 of those runs are charged to him. But Romo just lit a match, or pour some gasoline on that match, and ignited into a 3-run homer for Nelson Cruz. 3-run bomb, and all of a sudden Seattle's ahead 4-1. Here's Seeger. 3-9 for Seeger. He grounds to short. 1 away for Franklin Gutierrez. 3-5, struck him out. So now Romo trying to come back, but I think damage was already done. Here's Brad Miller. 5-12, and that's a ground ball. First base X. Brandon Belt at first is a 1. 1-10 is going to go to his error check, and Brandon Belt's an E4. E4 and a 4. E4 and a 4 is a 1-base error, so Brandon Belt boots it. First error of the game for either team. It's a 2-out error on Brandon Belt. And that keeps the inning going for Bloomquist. Miller, B-Stealer, will be held on. 5-10, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. But damage done. 3 runs come in for Seattle. And as we go to the 7th inning stretch here in San Francisco, it is the Mariners now 4-1 over the Giants. And we will need a pinch hitter for Romo. So it looks like Angel Pagan will pick up a bat and hit. So we're going to have Adrianza. Actually, we're not going to have Adrianza. We're going to have Joe Panic is going to hit for Adrianza. So there are a couple pinch hitters. We're going to have Panic, and he will stay in the game to play second base. And then we're going to have Pagan pinch hitting for the pitcher. So 2 pinch hitters will come up against Taijuan Walker. His fatigue is a 6th inning, but he gave up nothing, so he has nothing against his point of weakness to worry about. At least not yet. So here's Panic in a pinch hitting role. That's a 2-5, and he doubles. How about that? A pinch hit double for Joe Panic. That's why they brought him in there. Once we get to the 7th inning, you can sub, and that's what we did. Rested player can come back. He rested for 6 innings. So he can come in and pinch hit here in the 7th, in which he did. And hit that double, and now we got the pinch hitter for Romo, and that's going to be Angel Pagan. See what he can do. Pagan, I forgot to get Panic's numbers. I should have mentioned those, but Pagan is hitting 227, no homers and a run driven in. Panic with a 3-0 or a 3-run lead, they're not going to worry about holding Panic on. Walker, 6'4", switch hitter, batting left, is a ground ball third base X. That's Kyle Seeger. He's a 2. 2-20. That's a good play. So runner will have to hold. Pagan fails in the pinch. Couldn't even advance the runner. And now we're back to the top of the order in Gregor Blanco. 5-5, and that's a strikeout. 2 down, 1 more out, and Taijuan Walker will pitch out of all this mess. Here's Crawford. 2-4 for Crawford. He grounds it right back to Walker, and the inning is over. So despite the leadoff double from Panic, nothing comes of it, and the inning is over. So we go to the 8th. Score still 4-1 Seattle. And now we need a new pitcher for San Francisco. Well, that'll be it for Walker. He's going to go 7 innings, and he's going to face 29 batters. And of course, he is eligible as the pitcher of record to be a winner. His spot is coming up second in the inning, so we will get a pinch hitter for him. And I believe we got Seth Smith and Logan Morrison off the bench if they want them. Depends on who the Giants want to bring in as a pitcher. Do they bring in a lefty or do they bring in a right? They're going to bring in a righty, Yusmeiro Petit. Yusmeiro Petit will be on, so that means Seth Smith will come in and pinch hit for the pitcher. So we'll get these in play. So the new pitcher, Romo, first put him in. He pitches 1 inning, facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batters. And now we have Petit. And you know you're in the 8th, you're going to have Smith pinch hitting for Walker. So Walker's day is done. Check the injury. Forgot to do it for Romo. Romo's injury was a 0. He couldn't get injured. Petit is a 612. So we're looking for 612 if that comes up. It'll be Zanino still looking for his first hit of the season. And he will be followed by the pinch hitter Seth Smith. So here's Zanino. 3-8, and he struck him out, so he's still hitless. 1 down. Now the pinch hitter, Seth Smith, will be on. He's normally the right fielder, but he had to rest today. Seth Smith on the season is .304 average with no homers, 2 runs driven in. 3-9 for Smith, he strikes out. So back-to-back strikeouts from Petit. 2 up and 2 down for Austin Jackson. 2-7, and that's a single for Austin Jackson, a 2-out single. Austin Jackson's got his 3rd hit of the game. Again, he'd only be a 1-8 to try to steal, so not very good odds. They will hold him on, but they won't have him go anywhere. Here's Cano. 6-2, that's a strikeout, so Petit strikes out the side, trying to keep the Mariners at check. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Still a 4-1 game. And now we need a new pitcher for the Mariners. Petit will come back and pitch the 9th. Now for Seattle, let's go to their bullpen and see who they're going to bring in. The Giants have Posey, Belt, and Duffy, 2 out of 3 right-handers, so it would make sense they would go to a right-hander. And they're going to go to Carson Smith. Right-hander Carson Smith. He will be on. Let's see what his numbers reflect on the replay thus far. Probably not a whole lot of activity. I can get him over here. So Carson Smith checks in 1-0, but an ERA of 0. So Carson Smith is on, and we'll check what his injury chance is. Carson Smith is a 0. He cannot be injured. So no injury results to worry about. Buster Posey will lead it off. 0 for 2 with a walk. 6-5, that's a 1-5 double. Anything else, it's a deep fly to left. And that's a deep fly to left. Put away out there by Gutierrez. 1 away. Brandon Belt 2-3, just missed an injury chance. Ground ball A to the first baseman. That's an easy play for Bloomquist. 3 unassisted. 2 up and 2 down for Matt Duffy. And the Giants' offensive woes coming back to bite them. 5-3. Ground ball pitcher X, he's a 4. And then an E21. 4 and a 3. He might get away with that. Let's see. On the defensive chart, a 4 for a pitcher and a 3. Actually, that's going to be a single right there, so he couldn't get away with it. Single for Duffy, a 2-out single for Duffy. He's aboard for Hunter Pence. Duffy will be held but won't go anywhere. Here's Pence. 4-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Miller. Miller's a 3. 3 and a 13 is going to go to his error check. No, it won't actually. 13 is within the range of the shortstop. 3 and a 13 is a ground ball C. Good enough. So that's going to end the inning. So we go to the 9th. We go to the 9th. Still 4-1. Smith 1 inning pitched, faced 4 batters. I believe Fernando Rodney will come on as long as the score stays the same, and he would earn a save. They would bring him on. If the score gets higher than that, they'll bring somebody else. Right now, Nelson Cruz will lead it off. He had that big 3-run homer his last time up. That's the difference in the game. Petit trying to keep that from happening this time. 2-9, and he struck him out. So much better result from Petit. Brings up Kyle Seeger. 5-4. That's a fly ball center field X. That's Blanco, who's a 2. 2 and a 10. Most likely that's an error check. And it certainly is. And Blanco is an E6 again. E6 and a 6. E6 and a 6 is a fly ball B. Good enough. So Blanco makes the play. 2 down. And that's going to send up Franklin Gutierrez. So it looks like Fernando Rodney is loose and ready to go for the bottom of the 9th. 1-3. It's ground ball to short. That's going to end the inning. So Petit pitches 2 innings and faces 7 batters. So he did his job, keeping the score right where it is. And now we will have Fernando Rodney. See what he can do. He's going to attempt to close the door. So we'll go to we're going to go to our bench because we're going to have a pinch hitter for Maxwell for sure. But first things first, Fernando Rodney will be on. And on the replay, Rodney is 0-0 with 2 saves and a 0 ERA in 3 innings pitched. So he has not given up anything in 3 innings. We will get a pinch hitter, of course, for the Giants, for Maxwell. They will bring on Aoki. Nori Aoki will lead things off. It'll be Aoki, and then Panic and another pinch hitter after that. So right now, let's bring on Mr. Shoot the arrow in the sky himself, Fernando Rodney. He will be on to face Aoki as a pinch hitter here in the 9th. If it goes extra innings, he will stay in the game and play left field. But right now, it is Aoki. And then Panic. 2 lefties will be coming up for the Giants as they try to either win the game or send it to extra innings. They're down by 3. Tough task when they're offensively challenged as it is. They did get a run in the first, but nothing since. Rodney to Pence, 2-8, and that's a ground ball back to Rodney. 1 away, and Rodney's chance for injury is 6-12, so kind of the standard there to not worry about it too much. Don't get too many 6-12s out there. I mean, they come up once in a while, but not that often. That brings up Joe Panic. 2-5, that's a double. So Joe Panic is 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. since coming in for Adrianza. And now we need a pinch hitter for Petit for the Giants. And they have Mcgee and their backup catcher Sanchez, who is a switch hitter. But Mcgee is the better hitter, so they're going to bring in Casey Mcgee. Casey Mcgee will come on and see if he can't provide his team a big hit. I can find his card. It's in here somewhere. Where did you go? Oh, he's over here. Okay. Casey Mcgee. Let's take Panic out of there. So Casey Mcgee is the pinch hitter. And Mcgee on the replay is 2 out of 7 on the season, a .286 average. No homers or runs driven in. Rodney facing Casey Mcgee. Panic will not be held with a 3-run deficit, or 3-run advantage, I should say. 5-7, that's a walk. So Rodney getting himself in trouble as Mcgee has walked. That brings a tying run to the plate. One more batter, and Rodney might be facing fatigue here. And they may have to go to somebody else to try to close the deal. Rodney's thinking about shooting an arrow, but he's got to get the outs to do it. Here's Blanco. 2-7, and that's all those hits in column 2 for Blanco, but he found the strikeout, 2-7. All these numbers 5 through 12 would have been really good for Blanco, but he found the 2-7 and struck out instead. And now it's up to Brandon Crawford. He has been the hot hitter for the Giants. Not lately, but in the beginning of the game, he doubled and singled. He's gone 0 for 2 since, but he is the tying run. And if he finds his column 1, he does have some pop. But he found column 2. 2-3 is still going to be a single to left field. Single to left. And let's see, what do they want to do with Panic? I think with being down by 3, you're not going to take that chance, especially with Buster Posey coming up. So Buster Posey's going to come up with the bases loaded. And now what do you do if you're Seattle? We've got Rodney on the ropes. Buster Posey. I think you're going to stick with Rodney. He's stick with me. Let me get you out of this mess. 1-5, and he didn't get him out of the mess. 1-11 is a double. 12-20 is a single. 2 stars both ways. It's a double, and that's going to be it for Fernando Rodney. He couldn't hold the deal. Fortunately for Seattle, it was a 2-star double, so Crawford cannot score. But it does cut the lead to 4-3 just that quickly, and that'll be it for Fernando Rodney. He goes 2/3 of an inning, and he's going to face 5 batters, but he just can't get it done. Actually, he faces 6 batters. So a double for Posey, and now with Brandon Belt, the lefty, up, they're going to the bullpen. Are the Mariners, and they will go to a lefty, and that lefty is going to be Joe Beimel. He does have 1 save, or he did have 1 save on the 2015 season. So Joe Beimel, the lefty, will be coming on to face Brandon Belt, and Fernando Rodney just couldn't get it done. He is a blown save, so Joe Beimel is on. And Beimel will be facing Belt with the tying run at third, and the winning run is at second. Posey, the winning run at second base. Do you hold? They're not going to hold him because they don't want to open up any gaps in the infield. So they're just going to pitch it straight up. Beimel to Belt, lefty on lefty. It is now a 4-3 game here in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs and runners at second and third. Beimel looking for the save. And let me check his injury thing before I go further, just to make sure we don't hit it. Beimel is a 6'11". So make sure we don't roll the 6'11". Be a bad time to get an injury, wouldn't it? 2-8 against the lefty. Struck him out. He strikes out Brandon Belt, and the ball game is over. So Joe Beimel gets his first save. How about that? He gets the first save. Walker will get the win, and Heston will take the loss. I'll get the records for you as soon as I pull up the computer to finish it off. So the Mariners hold on and win it 4-3 against the Giants. Giants made a valiant comeback here in the 9th, but just couldn't get it done. So as we go to our box score, the winning pitcher is Walker. He is now 1-0. That was his first decision. He's now 1-0. Chris Heston drops to 0-2. And the save for Beimel, of course, is his first. 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Mariners. 3 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the Giants. Left on base, both of them left 10 runners on base. So lots of opportunities were left on the base paths for both teams. So there is your final. Giants dropped to 2-5. The Mariners improved to 5-2. So could be a long year for the Giants and the Phillies the way this thing is going, because the Giants just can't score runs, or if they do them very infrequently. So the winning pitcher again was Taijuan Walker. Losing pitcher was Heston. Big blow, 3-run homer from Nelson Cruz in the 7th. That was the difference. He is the player of the game. Nelson Cruz is your player of the game with his 3-run homer, his second of the season. And RBIs for Nelson Cruz, 2, 3, and 4. He only had 1 RBI going into this game, but this gives him 4 now for the season. And the Mariners improved to 5-2 with their first road test and first time playing without the DH. And they got to really work on Fernando Rodney, get his confidence up, because he almost let that one get away. Joe Beimel kind of got out on the jam, took care of it. So hope you enjoyed that presentation of the Demolition League Strat-O-Matic 2015 style, Seattle versus San Francisco. Next video will be matchup number 4, and it'll be the Battle of Ohio. It'll be Cleveland Indians against the Cincinnati Reds from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Until then, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, how we choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.